today I'm going to talk a little bit about how to clean and sanitize vegetable picking lugs and wooden picking baskets. To start off, here we have a 3-section sink, and in the first section we have plain water. So we're going to add dish detergent, or really any surfactant, any soap will work. The first step of cleaning a picking lug is really to get all of the leaf matter and dirt off of it. In our example here, we have a very, very dirty lettuce picking basket. We're going to add some dish detergent, really just to get it sudsy. In our second basin here, we just have regular plain water. We're going to use that as a second step just to rinse off any of the extra leaf matter. I will note that it has to be potable water. It has to be drinking water quality. In the third section, the last step of cleaning and sanitizing a vegetable picking lug is actually sanitizing. So in our case, we're going to use regular bleach. You'll note that here I have Clorox concentrated bleach, and chlorine is a very strong oxidizer. This is what we want to actually sanitize the baskets. It'll kill off any of those plant or human pathogens. So then the next thing I'm going to do is actually start washing my picking lugs. And the picking lug that I grabbed today is pretty disgusting. So I'm going to let this soak a little bit. I'm just using a scrubby. You can use a rag, you can use paper towels. I have just a sponge, a scrubby sponge here that I'm going to use. And just some elbow grease. So after I get all of the dirt and leaf matter off, I can go into the second sink and just use that as a wash. And just rinse that off. Often the first compartment will get pretty dirty with extra leaf matter and everything, so it's nice to have a second sink available. Okay. Now we got this nice and clean. These are old lugs, so really anything left are stains. Final step is our sanitizing step. So I'm just going to walk over here to this bleach solution that we prepared and let this soak. And this basin is exactly tall enough that if we dump it in and then flip it over, it's a perfect size for getting the whole surface area. Buckets would also work well. You want a contact time of about a minute or two. Since these are plastic lugs, one of the benefits is that it's very easy to sanitize, unlike wood lugs, which are very difficult to sanitize because wood heats up and deactivates chlorine. I'm going to let that sit for about another minute. And then after a minute, I am going to take this over to our drying area. Shake it off a bit. And walk this over. I have a rack right here. However, if you were doing this in a packing house or outside, you could set up some pallets or something. Essentially, you don't want to sit the wet lug back on the ground so it gets dirty again. And then the final step is I'm going to take my second log up off of the wall. And this is my log for cleaning picking containers and contact surfaces. So what we did today was we cleaned our vegetable lugs. So this is another log that is created by Cornell University, and I kind of adapted it a little bit for my use. And I just fill out the date. I put a check next to the vegetable lugs because that's what we cleaned. Treatment was clean and sanitized. And then I put my initials down so they know who cleaned them today. Okay, so now that we washed all of our vegetable or our plastic vegetable lugs, the next thing that we wanted to clean was some of our wooden apple crates. The main difference between cleaning plastic lugs and wooden apple crates is that wood is very difficult to clean and it's pretty impossible to sanitize. We are going to bleach it anyway, however, because wood is an organic matter, it'll eat up the bleach and it'll kind of deactivate it. So it's still good to bleach and sanitize wood. Just note that the leaf bleach concentrations were going to decrease a lot quicker than they would if we were just cleaning plastic lugs. The same as with the plastic lugs, we have 3 compartments, and this time we're going to use the 3rd compartment of our sink instead of a long basin because of the shape of the crates. It's just a lot easier with the deep compartments. Questions that I often get is, how often do you clean and sanitize your crates? This is really up to you. I recommend once a week, but this is really just depends on what you decide and what you write into your food safety plan. Next, I am going to sit it in this bleach sanitizer. And as I mentioned, for the plastic lugs, I usually let them sit in for a minute or 2 of contact time. That gives it enough time to know that the bleach has come into contact with the materials long enough. With wood, as I mentioned, wood is very difficult to sanitize. It's full of nooks and crannies. I'm going to let this sit in here for a little bit longer. I'm going to let this sit in here for about 10 minutes. You'll notice here that only about half of my crate fits into this compartment. So I'm going to let it sit here for about 10 minutes, and then I'm going to flip it around. I want to see if the wood has had an impact on the chlorine concentration yet. As I mentioned, wood is good at eating up the chlorine because the chlorine kind of attaches itself to the organic materials, just like it does with dirt. So I'm going to grab a strip. Right now it looks like it's still pretty high. If I were to keep washing with wooden crates, pretty quickly it'll start to decrease. So it'll go back down to about 40, 30 until the chlorine is completely eaten up. So I'm actually just going to put this on the drying rack along with the rest of my vegetable lugs. And obviously, since it's wood, it's going to take a little while to dry. So now that I've finished cleaning all of my crates, I am going to fill out my log again. And that is all. That's how you clean and sanitize vegetable picking logs.